Okay, for now, I'm going to talk about the project scope phase. So as the scope originally intended, we were going to build some birdhouses, 4 birdhouses, and 3 rope bridges was the original design. As you saw in the beginning of the presentation, ended up becoming 3 birdhouses and 1 main rope bridge for time and planning constraints, and such as life, projects. Uh, in terms of the timeline, we intended for it to be April 11th, and I did mention in the project scope that that was a soft line. Ended up getting it finished just 10 days past that, April 21st, but 10 days, not too bad for the actual planning. Would definitely make it within the project buffer range. In terms of the resources, pretty much everything that was considered was involved, as well as a couple of additional ones. So all the original ones like the wood, the screws, the nails, the twine, and the wood stainer was all involved in terms of raw materials for the tools. The hammers and drills were used, kept that pretty brief in the scope write-up. The additional ones that were used there were a couple of power tools, like a power sander and a nail gun, as well as wood glue, because certain things couldn't be achieved with the screws and nails to hold together certain pieces of the house, mainly the bridging of the roofs on the larger house. Um, so that had to be added in as well. In terms of the proper protective equipment, obviously risks were avoided. I wore gloves and goggles the whole time. And with careful planning and execution, I was able to carry it out unharmed, no cuts or anything. That's nice. Um, the park ended up saying that they would not permit us to put the project in it, which is why it's currently unmounted and sitting in my basement. But I have a garden that backs up to the park, so I plan on putting it there, and it's still going to be pretty close range. They just said that it was a safety consideration. Should it fall and hurt somebody in the park, they or myself could be liable. So my suspicions were confirmed there. But the nice thing about that is in terms of the constraints that were involved in the project, because the park said no, we didn't have to worry about any risk involved with that, or any particular fee that might be incurred from having the park have a project displayed there. The budget we originally planned for was $100, and it was very successful. Got it approximately $50, so did twice as good there as we were originally planning to, so that's very nice. And finally, the stakeholders involved, myself and the birds. I obviously like how the project turned out, and once we finally get it up, we'll see what the other guys think about it, but of course that is for the birds.